Hello students, I am Raghavan Kumar Singh, faculty of US Academy and Institute. Today we will discuss class 6 Civics 4th chapter, key elements of a democratic government. In this chapter we will discuss about the key elements that influence the working of a democratic government, that include people's participation, the resolution of conflict and equality and justice. South Africa is a country of several races including black peoples who belongs to South Africa. The whites who came there to settle, Indians who came as laborers and traders, so on. Earlier, the country was governed by apartheid law. Apartheid means separation on the basis of race. African peoples were divided into white, black, Indian, and colored races. According to the law, these races were not allowed to mingle with each other or even use common facilities. The African National Congress, a group of peoples, led the struggle against apartheid, and their most well-known leader, Nelson Mandela, fought the apartheid system for several years. Finally, they succeeded, and in 1994, South Africa became a democratic country in which peoples of all races are considered equal. Participation. Why do we have regular election? It was already discussed in an earlier chapter that peoples make decisions in a democracy. People elect leaders to represent them via election. These leaders can also take decisions on behalf of the peoples. It is believed that these representatives will keep in mind and voices and the interest of the people. Every government is elected for a fixed period of time. In India, it is for 5 years, and every government that is elected is allowed to stay in power for only that period. However, if they want to continue to be in power, then they will have to be re-elected by the peoples. In this way, regular election limits the power of the government. Other way of participating elections are held once every 5 years. Besides voting, peoples can participate in the process of the government by taking an interest in its operations and criticizing it when required. For example, in August 2005, when the ruling government of the time increased the money, people had to pay for the electricity. They expressed their disapproval very sharply by taking out rallies and organizing a signature campaign. Even though the government tried to explain and defend their elections, they finally listened to the people's opinion and withdrew the increase. In a country, people are alert for interested in how the country is run. the democratic character of the government of that country will be stronger. So, the next time we see a rally winding through the streets of our cities and towns or villages, we should pause to find out what the rally is about, who is participating in it, and what they are protesting about. This will help to give us a sense of how our government works. While it is true that democracy allows the peoples to participate, it is not all the sections of people who are actually able to do so. Now, finding other way to participate. People organize themselves into social movement that seeks to challenge the government and its functioning. Members of the minority community like the Dalits, Adivasis, women and others often participate in this manner. If the peoples of a country are alert and interested in how the country is run, then the democratic character of the government is expected to be stronger. Now, need to resolve conflict. It is seen that conflict can lead to violence and death. When one group decides that it is all right to use force to prevent the other group from protesting, conflict arises when peoples of a varied culture, religion, region, or economical background do not get along with each other, or when some among them feel they are being discriminated against. Peoples may use violent methods to settle their differences, leading to fear and tension among other livings in an area. The government is responsible for resolving conflicts. Religious procession and celebration also lead to conflict sometimes. For example, the roots procession takes may lead to a conflict. The government, particularly the police, plays an important role in getting representatives of concerned communities to meet and try and arrive at a solution. Nevertheless, there is also fear that violence may erupt, with peoples throwing stones or trying to disrupt the procession. The police is in charge of ensuring that violence does not take place. Meanwhile, a river too can become a source of conflict between states if it begins in one state, flows through another, and ends in a third. Sharing of river water between different states that the river goes through can become an issue of conflict. An example is given: the Karve water dispute that broke out between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. It is an example. The origin of a legal dispute over Karve water date back to 1892 and by the late 1960. Both states and the central government began to realize the gravity of situation as the 50 years run of the 1924 agreement was soon come to an end. The water stored in Krishnaraja Sagara Dam in Karnataka was used for irrigation. a number of districts and for meeting the needs of the city of Bengaluru. At the same time, the water stored in Mettur Dam in Tamil Nadu was used for crop grown in the delta region of that state. Or a conflict arose because both dams are on the same river. The downstream dam in Tamil Nadu could only be filled up if the water is released from the upstream one located in Karnataka, leading to water scarcity in one state. As both states can't get as much water as they need for peoples in their states, this leads to conflict. The central government has to step in to see that a fair distribution is worked out for both states. Now, equality and justice. The key idea of democratic government is its commitment to equality and justice, which are inseparable. The earlier practice of untouchability is now banned by law. They were earlier denied education, transport, or medical facilities, and even the chance to offer prayers. Dr. Ambedkar and many others like him realized that such practices must not continue, and justice can only be achieved when peoples are treated equally. The government also recognized this and makes special provisions for groups within society that are unequal.